Okay, so in this video, I'll start teaching you how to respond to different types of essay prompts. Generally, I categorize the prompts into 7 kinds, and I will show you how I handle them. This classification will also apply to you if you're applying to Canadian universities, so you will also find these videos really helpful. Okay, so let's get started. So the first type of problem is one of the most commonly seen one, which I call the challenging situation of personal growth. This type of prompts will ask you to share an obstacle, challenge, or failure, setback you've gone through, or it may ask you to talk about an event through which you had a new level of realization of things about yourself. So let's look at some sample essay prompts first of all. So these 2 questions are from the common application essays. The first one asks you to talk about the challenge and its impact on your academic achievements. Well, the second one asks you to share an experience and your learning from it. So how should we respond to this kind of question? Okay, so there are 4 things you need to address in this type of prompt. Okay, first of all, you need to identify a challenge, setback, or failure that was really significant to you. You may ask what counts as a great challenge. I would say that there's no definite answer, but I would suggest you to find a challenge that is not only significant to you, but also relatively unique. For example, many of my students are, international students studying in Canada, and one really popular response to these kind of challenge questions are to talk about the hardship when they just came to Canada, where they were on their own, for the first time, and their English was not quite good, and they didn't have any friends or family to help them out. Well, I know it is a great challenge for most of you guys, yet I don't encourage them to use that experience, as it sounds too cliched. Every one of us has had this kind of experience trying really hard to fit in a brand new environment. So unless you have some really nice story to share, I don't usually suggest you use this kind of challenge as your response to this prompt. But whatever you want to write, you should make sure that this challenge was really significant to you. And if you have more than 1 great challenges to share, try to use the emotion list tool I mentioned in the previous video so that you can find out which one has the biggest impact on you. Second, you need to talk about the steps you took to overcome it. Remember, admission officers don't only want to listen to your misfortune, they also want to see how you managed to get over it and how you learn from it, which is the 3rd point and 4th point I'm going to talk about. If you still remember the great essay criteria I talked about before, you know that admission officers want to know about you in a deeper level. They want to know about your life and your deepest stories and thoughts. So be real and be vulnerable in here and talk about some of your thoughts, the changes, even your accomplishments after you go through the challenging situation. One key I need you guys to pay attention to here is to remember to reveal some of your personal qualities under the challenging situation. For example, resilience is one of the most important qualities we want to see in this kind of essay. Colleges, of course, don't want to admit a student who beat the retreat in front of the challenges. And of course, you can talk about other core values of yours. Here's the suggested structure of this essay. So basically, you need to take half of your essay talking about your challenge and half of it talking about your thoughts, feelings, growth, reflections, etc. When you write this kind of essay, there are 3 things you should avoid in your essay. The first one is what I've told you, the cliched challenges. Like, if you're watching a film, you will feel bored if the plot is too cliched, right? So, similar to your essays, admission officers are experienced in reading application essays, so you need to try to show them something fresh. Second, the key to responding to the challenging type of prompt is to show admission officers your core values. As I said, resilience is one of the important ones you have to show for this essay. So don't over-exaggerate the obstacles, and that will make others feel that you are not mature enough. Similarly, some of my students complain about how they were treated unfairly, which I really don't suggest you to do so. Colleges want to admit person with positive attitudes and keep complaining about things will make you less attractive. So in the next video, I'm going to show you a good example of challenge essay so that you will get what I talk about in this video.